Hello and welcome to another episode of Dime.Scheduler in under 10 minutes. In this episode, I will move away from Business Central slightly and focus on the capabilities of the Power Platform and how we can craft solutions without having to write a single line of code. Our connector for the Power Platform can be just as powerful as our standard connector for Business Central. The difference there, of course, is that you have to build the solution yourself. I will demonstrate an example of a simple workflow to plan crews. We'll create a Business Central service order, attach a Power Automate flow to that, so we can add additional resources to the appointment based on some routing table in an Excel sheet. So let's get to it. I've been over this many times before, so I'm not going to repeat myself too much here today. We are currently looking at Dime.Scheduler, and I've set up this workspace which is relevant for planning service orders. With that, let's just hop over to Business Central and create a service order there, make it available in our open task list so we can plan it in and then have a look at our crew system in the Power Platform. Everything that I'm going to show next is standard Business Central functionality. So there's really nothing new to report here. We'll just need to go to the service orders list, create a new item, then select the customer, the type of the service order as well, and then obviously select the item that needs to be serviced. And for the purposes of this demonstration, that's all we need. So then we can go to the actions item in the menu, expand our Dime.Scheduler submenu, and invoke this button. When you do that, we'll grab everything that is relevant for planning from Business Central and we'll make it available as one single line in our open tasks list in Dime.Scheduler. So when we go there, we'll see a new record appear with number 116. Now, usually you would use components like the map, like the resource filters component, and of course our planning board to help you look for a suitable resource that can carry out this particular task. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about potential use cases of the Power Platform to enrich standard functionality of Business Central and Dime.Scheduler. So let's have a look at one of the Power Automate flows that we have set up for our demo environment. Let me walk you through this Power Automate flow. It may seem complicated, but it really isn't. It all starts with this trigger right here. Whenever you plan a new appointment on the planning board, this flow will be invoked with the data of the appointment that you just scheduled. The next 3 steps set some variables that we'll use later on to make decisions in the flow. The first decision we make is to only process service orders. If it isn't a service order, it will terminate the flow and nothing will happen. If it is a service order, the flow will continue in this branch and then the flow will assign additional resources to the appointment based on the routing table here. And when there's a match with the resources of the incoming appointment from Dime.Scheduler, we'll then add additional resources, and it will also update the status and add notification so people are aware new crew members have been assigned to the appointment. So let's have a look first how that Excel sheet looks like. To replicate this crew assignment system, we've set up something extremely simple. We have a date range where resources will have to go out and do the work together. The Power Automate flow will read this table and next will apply a filter on the member 1 column. If it finds a match with one of the resources in the Dime.Scheduler appointment, it will then proceed by adding member 2 and a vehicle to that same appointment. So let's see how that looks like in the Power Automate flow. When I click on this step, we can see what happens. This step just goes to a SharePoint library and loads the data in memory from that table that I just shown. So we can then apply a filter and potentially assign resources to that appointment. This query is a bit more advanced, but it will compare the data from the Excel sheet with the incoming resources from the new appointment in Dime.Scheduler. If there is a match, it will proceed and will add a vehicle and also add a second team member to the appointment. These two are Dime.Scheduler actions. So to add a resource to the appointment, you'll need two things basically. You'll need an appointment number and a resource number. And this resource number, that comes from that column in the Excel sheet. When you have added your resources to the appointment, it will continue the flow, and then we'll do two more things. It will add notification to the appointment, so both planner and resources are aware that a new resource has been added to the appointment, and also it will update the status to in progress. So if we expand this one a little bit, you can see the appointment number will be set to in process. And for service orders, we're going to link their progress to the time marker, which is this visual indicator that renders the underscore of the appointments on the planning board. And then after that, the flow will terminate, and then we'll have a complete flow. With that covered, let's see that flow in action. And then we can use our service order that we send over from Business Central. And let's assign that service order to resource Jeremy, because that resource also appears in the Excel sheet. So what will happen in a second, when we drag that appointment to the planning board, we'll have Terry and car 2 also assigned to the appointment. Let's drag this one for Jeremy for Thursday. And then, as always, when you drag an appointment to the planning board, it will send information back to Business Central, potentially also to Outlook. And in this case, it will invoke the Power Automate flow. It will pass all the checks, and it will add additional resources. It will add notification and change the status to in process. So for this resource, you may have seen it. We have this block, but also if we go to the bottom, we now have resource Terry has been assigned to the appointment. And also our car number 2 has been now assigned to the appointment. And if you double click on the appointment, you can see the status has now been set to in process, which is visualized by that orange underscore at the bottom of the appointment. You'll also notice there is now a vertical bar on the left-hand side of the appointment, which shows that there is a notification for this appointment of type warning. You can read the notifications by right-clicking on the appointment and then selecting the notifications item. That opens a modal window and shows all the notifications available for this item. Then we can see that notification comes from the Power Automate flow to warn planner and other resources that Terry has been assigned to the appointment and that they have to go together to that customer's site. And for completeness sake, I should also point out that all the changes you make will eventually make their way back to Business Central. In this case, for service orders, it will have 3 resource allocation lines, which we can see here for Jeremy, but also for car 2 and resource Terry. This was a simple example of how you can use the Power Platform to create your bespoke solutions without having to write a single line of code. In the next episodes, we will explore standard solutions that we can interact with via the Power Platform. For more information, check out our website Dime.Scheduler.com and get your free demo. Until then, I'll see you in the next episode.